Hey math kids, today we're going to talk about cubic inequalities, and you can see one written on the screen, and we'll just jump right in. So what we're going to do is we're going to get everything onto one side. Oops, that's a minus. So we have x cubed minus 4x squared minus 9x plus 6 is less than or equal to 0. Okay. Now, if we graph this, so we got x cubed minus 4x squared minus 9x plus 6. We do that. Let's see. Okay, we have a root at -2. Okay, so that creates the factor x plus 2. And then if we're trying to make this thing, we know that we have to multiply the x by x squared. And we know that this 2 would have to be multiplied by a 3 to make this 6. And then there's some term in the middle that we don't know. So we'll just do it that way. Okay, if we multiply this out, we're going to get x cubed plus ax squared plus 3x plus 2x squared plus 2ax plus 6. Verifying that the first and last terms correspond to what we want. Then we have a plus 2 for our x squared term. We have 2a plus 3 for our x term, and then plus 6. We compare the coefficients, so we get -4 is equal to a plus 2, and since we're only solving for one, we don't need the other one, but we could do this equal to this. Subtract 2, and so a is equal to -6. So when we go right here, we can change this to a -6. Now if we're trying to find the roots, we're just going to use that because we already know the root from here is -2. We plug it into the quadratic formula. So we get a is 1, b is -6, c is 3. So we get 6 plus or minus -6 squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That's 2, that's 3, that's -12, that's 36, and 36 minus 12 is 24. So we have 6 plus or minus square root 24 over 2. 24 is going to break up into 8 and 3, 4 and 2, 2 and 2. So those 2's can come out. So we get 6 plus or minus 2 square root of 3 times 2, which is 6, over 2. 6 and 2 are divisible by 2, so we get 3 plus or minus the square root of 6. Alright, we found our roots. We don't need the rest of the work. We're actually not finished though. So once we have the roots, we can, let's see, where do we want to be? I didn't want to erase that part. Okay, just that. I still want this blue part right here. This can go too. And, okay, I think we're good now. So we want to create a sine diagram. Now, you can use a calculator to figure out what 3 plus square root of 6 or 3 minus square root of 6 if you want to, or we can just reason through it. So we know that the square root of 4 is 2, and we know the square root of 9 is 3. So we know this is somewhere in between 2 and 3. And it's going to be a tiny bit closer to the 2. So maybe it's 2.3, 2.4, something along those lines. So if we do 3 plus that, if we're trying to figure out where this is on a number line, we have negative 2 here. And if we do 3 minus something in between that, it's still going to be a positive number. So it's going to be on the right side of negative 2. Now if we add that to it, we know that it's going to be even further to the right. So once again, you can plug those into a calculator if you want to, or you can just kind of reason through it that way. Now, it's been a while since we've done a sine diagram, so I'm just going to choose values that are in between these. So 0 will be in between there. 3 is going to be in between there. Because if we take 3, subtract something, 3 plus something, it's got to be between there. And then I'm going to say like 6. Once again, you can get a decimal for those if it's easier for you to do it that way. Now, when we plug in negative 3, we want to see what we get right here. So if we plug in a negative 3 right here, it's negative. If we plug in a negative 3 here, we're going to get a 9. Plug in a negative 3 right here, we're going to get positive 18. We plug in, and that's positive 3. Okay, those are all positive, so that's positive. And so overall, negative times positive is negative. If we plug in a 0, we get a positive number. 0, we get a positive number. Positive times positive is positive. Plug in a 3, we get a positive. Now from here on out, if we plug in any positive number, this will just stay positive. So now we just need to focus on whatever happens over here. So a 3 in here gives us positive 9. 3 here gives us negative 18. And that, so 9, 10, 11, 12. That's not enough, so it's negative. Positive times negative is negative. Now if we plug in a 6, that's going to be 36. Plug in a 6 here, it's going to be negative 36. And then plus 3, that goes away, so it's positive. Positive times positive is positive. So that's our sine diagram. Now our sine diagram is going to help us write our inequality. So I'm just going to get rid of this, because all we need is the sine diagram. Okay. And the original question was asking when we were less than. So we want to know just when we are, since this was less than, we want to know when we're negative. So we're negative when x is less than or equal to negative 2, or when we're in between 3 minus the square root of 6 and 3 plus square root of 6. So that answers the inequality question. Okay, we're going to try another one. This time we have 2x cubed minus 7x squared plus 5 is greater than x minus 5. Okay, so we're going to solve this one graphically. So what we're going to do is we're just going to graph both of these on the same pair of axes. Okay. And the question is, let's see, I'm going to change the color. Maybe not. Okay. I think it's fine. So we have a purple one and a black one. Actually, there we go. Purple and red. That's easier to see. So we see, remember the original was greater than. So we want to know when the purple is above the red. And so we see that the purple is above the red when we're in between these 2 points, and then when we're to the right of this last point. So that's really all we need to say. We just look at the x values. Let's see if I can get this on one screen. Okay, anyway. So we're going to be negative 1.10 is less than x is less than 1.44. These don't have lines under them because the original one didn't. And we go back to Desmos. You see we're in between those two x values. That's where I got those numbers. And then whenever we're to the right of this, so we're going to say x is greater than 3.16. Okay, if you need additional help, please